Well, we're getting our very first look at the disgraced former Prince Andrew after his shocking arrest yesterday. He's accused of sharing classified government information with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Police released him after 11 hours in custody, and cameras caught Andrew leaving the station, ducking down in the back seat of a chauffeured car. That image is splashed on the front page of many UK newspapers today. It's also the cover of today's New York Post, the headline, Prince of Darkness. This may be the biggest crisis to face Buckingham Palace and the royal family in modern history. So big, in fact, that one royals commentator told me it could even cost Andrew's older brother, King Charles, the crown.
I would not be shocked, Harris, to see King Charles have to abdicate over this. Given his health issues too, by the British public, it'll all come down to polls. He might abdicate over this because Prince William has stood fast the entire time with zero tolerance on this, and he wanted him as far away from Windsor as possible, hence the ousting from Royal Lodge.
Stephanie Bennett is at Buckingham Palace. Stephanie.
Good morning. Yeah, a lot to dive into. And as you said, he is making his face well known all over the national newspapers here. We've got the Daily Mail. They say the crown in a crisis, downfall. They say the former prince looking haggard, shamed and haunted. That photo now going viral across the globe. Now, Thames Valley Police haven't released any new details, but detectives have been coming and going all day at his former residence, the Royal Lodge in Windsor. It's owned by the crown, but it's where Andrew lived for many years before being forced out and stripped of his royal titles last year. Now, he recently moved to Sandringham Estate in eastern England. That's where plainclothes officers arrested him early yesterday morning on his 66th birthday. The former prince was held for roughly 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office, but he was released for further investigation, meaning he is essentially free to go wherever he wants. No sightings, though, yet of him so far today. The arrest comes after police were looking into claims, though, that while serving as UK trade envoy, Andrew shared confidential government documents with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. King Charles, Andrew's older brother, carrying on with his public-facing duties for the most part, attending an event yesterday for London Fashion Week. And Queen Camilla, she was at Westminster for an orchestra. In response to Andrew's arrest, the king said the law must take its course. We are hearing within the last half an hour, though, that Metropolitan Police are contacting Andrew's protection officers, former and serving officers who may have worked closely with him, and they're asking if they can share any info to assist them in their investigations. For now, though, legal experts say legal proceedings could take months or even years.
He was trade envoy for 10 years, started 25 years ago, I think. And so there's plenty of material in government archives, in government records, perhaps in palace records, that they will want to look through before they can decide whether they have enough evidence.
And Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. Back to you.
Stephanie, thank you very much. Kinsey Schofield, Royals expert and correspondent, with me now. First of all, the news that he, is out and about. Where is he? Did he go home? I know one of the residences is still being looked at today.
I know, but the Sandringham property is so vast that he has plenty of options that he can pop into. What we understand today is that he's reaching out to friends, trying to find help with not only his legal counsel, but the finances involved with that.
Really?
Because within the umbrella of the British royal family, he was well taken care of, but he has to be cut off in this scenario because it would be the king technically prosecuting him if they pursue these charges.
Kinsey, not to focus too much on the money, but it is interesting to me. He's had a paycheck all of his life for something, right? I mean, they have a lot of money, so wouldn't he have his own? To reach out at this point, that is a little surprising, because this is going to take some cash.
It's going to take a significant amount of money, but he is a hustler. He hasn't had a steady job. He's gone from gig to gig, friend to friend, opportunity to opportunity. You see that desperation in him and Fergie's emails, in their history. Fergie offering cash for access. If you give me this significant sum of money, I'll give you access to then Prince Andrew. So it's not been a steady income. He's been chasing a dime for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, hearing you talk about about Fergie and bring all that up. There is another side to all of this. There's the public and the interest there. There's the royal family, and then there's a spouse. So talk to me about how long you're hearing this whole process of search, and because this is going to take, I would imagine, some time to go through all the properties.
There's also the additional complication of the fact, Harris, that he was in the process of moving. And it's my understanding that that's why authorities were so concerned and wanted to jump in there as quickly as they did, so quickly after that DOJ drop. Because as they're packing up Royal Lodge and moving him to Sandringham, his property on Sandringham, what are the odds that you might stumble on some paperwork you don't want somebody to find or see and toss them in a fireplace? They wanted to get access to his old office, to boxes, belongings, to hard drives as quickly as possible before any potential evidence could be destroyed.
Real quickly before I let you go, because we're trying to understand what the laws would say about this if he's found guilty of this behavior of misconduct while in office, and the whatever the relations were when they happened with Jeffrey Epstein. It was well known already that he had problems with accusations of pedophilia. So what does the law do? What does penalty look like potentially for Andrew?
If he is found guilty of sharing government secrets, which is all he's accused of right now, sharing government secrets while he's a member, while he's working for the government, it could be life. Is that realistic? No. But there are 9 other agencies looking at him right now, some associated with sex offenses. So we could see additional arrests in the future. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, since yesterday, it has picked up. Originally, it was that misconduct in office, and now there's 9 other agencies. Kinsey Schofield, great to have you in focus. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.